Welcome back into the workshop and a wee bit of an update. As you can see, I've drilled all of the holes out to the requisite 13 millimeters for the tap to go in, and I have cut 3 of the threads, still got one embedded. I'm choosing to use the drill press to maintain as accurate a 90-degree thread. Otherwise, why even bother? Could I use my hand taps, the handles for it? And the answer is, of course, but why would you want to introduce that possibility of tipping the tap on an angle on one or two of them? Now, being heavy steel, it's less likely, I think, but not being an engineer, let's just say I could probably achieve a angled tap on this steel anyway, regardless. So I'm not introducing that possibility, or put it the other way, I'm trying to reduce that possibility to the minimum. With the with the chamfer on the hole, it allows this tap to center a little bit nicer, because it's not really, I really don't know whether it's a starting tap or not, a number one tap or whatever the number, but it's, the ones I've seen in the past have got quite a taper to them, and this one doesn't. Yes, it has got a taper on the bottom, but I'd almost suggest it's an intermediate tap. It's definitely not a plug tap, but anyway, long story short, it works. I'm quite happy for it to locate in the manner it does, but certainly the wee chamfer on it helps. There's a lot of holes there though, and doing it by hand, I've chosen, like I say, the chuck, and all I do is probably not wise for the longevity of the hole in the chuck, but I get a bit of 8mm rod, and then I can thread it in and back it off and carry on with the threading process like that, putting pressure on the handle to keep the pressure down on the quill to help with the threading action. And then once it gets to this stage, it's got its thread and I can back it out, and of course it's just going to wind itself out. I don't have to worry about the handle of the drill. And the wobbly old drill stand, it's just on a small base, mobile base, hence the amount of movement, but I can just wind it out, and then I've got my nice lovely caramba. No, it didn't hit me. Where did that come from? Well, what was it? Anyway, it was a bit of melamine that was right next to the drill. So yeah, I just back it out. There it is, nice and clean. The holes don't look too bad, I've got to say. And them will better be too. Then once that's all done, I can take it over here. I've given it a bit of a sand using the old Cubitron discs. Then I can, if you just wait for a second, then I can come over to here and I'll just get the inserts, and these are the 4mm inserts I was talking about. You can get them as an accessory to the drill guide for doing your dowels, but because they've got that particular thread on it, I can wind them in. I might have to put a wee wire brush down there. And that was my first attempt, by the way, and of course it goes in nicely. And by putting them, a set of those in, they're not actually all that cheap either, by the way, so you don't want to be going silly with it, but I've got a number of them go in. Oh yeah, look at that. And once that's set up, and these are in the 20mm spaced holes, anyway, once they're in there like that, I can set it up on a sheet. Say it was going to be this one. I know that the first set of holes are going to be 25mm in from the edge. Once I've got that nice and square, clamp it down, I can spot drill those. As I said in the previous video, I'm using a centering bit or a center bit that you normally use for, the tailstock of a lathe. But you can use them anywhere, but that's where they are often used. But it's a 4mm main body, but it's got a 1mm pilot hole to it, meaning that I just go down and barely mark the melamine, and that fine tip gives me a nice point of location for the subsequent drilling. Now, whether that's 8mm or 20mm or whatever you want, you're able to, because you've only got the wee spot mark to locate your drill tip. Now, this is where I like this approach, because I've assembled the parts. I just come across them and they weren't intended for this particular job, but this is the guide that is set up for the 20mm hole for the bench dogs. But it also, just coincidentally, has the same thread that would accept the bushes. So then I can use the guide to put whatever bush I decide upon, and it's going to probably most of the time be the 20mm, and then I can drill the holes. Yay! Now, with that, I can also put an 8mm, in this case 8mm, and I can use some of the holes for registration. Not a bad idea. So that's something that we can consider. One of the things, though, that someone will, those that are sharp-eyed, if I have the holes on this area at, let's say 20mm, and the holes that I drill are 20mm, aren't I going to have no meat left at that point? And the answer is, you are dead right. So that is, however, what I can do is mark them use the 4mm to mark them and choose which ones I drill. Of course, not 20mm, otherwise it will fall apart. So that's that issue. But here I'll have that small 5mm piece of the bench still left in between, and it's very, very unlikely I'd be drilling 20mm bench dog holes at 25mm spacings as for these ones. It is more likely that they would be 100 or 50, one or the other. Very seldom would they be that. But however, as I said, they can be used for registration, or I can put threaded inserts or whatever and screw in the bolts or something like that in those alternate places. So they don't have to be 20mm at all, nor do they have to be right next to each other. So, yeah, nice little facility. I had actually thought about having the steel bar drilled with incremental spacings, but that was one of the reasons for getting the plate. I can use it to locate and align the holes, and if there is a need, I can drill using this. Also, it would have been nice to have drilled out some more holes of that to make it lighter, because they're flaming heavy. But that's kind of an advantage as well. They will sit quite well. They polish up really nicely, so that was a consideration. Have to get them nice and smooth. I'll do a little bit more work on that. They feel very nice to the fingertips, so that's good. Now that I've got my sander back, but as yet unassembled, that's the motor down there, I can enlist it for some of the work to tickle up the edges, because the smoother we can get them, it just looks nice, doesn't it? And it feels, the tactile nature of it, it's very pleasing, I've got to say. Rightio, that's it. That's the starting of the threading. Probably will have to get I've got them. I'll probably have to get my brass brush that goes in the drill and push down through there just to clear some of that roughness out. So, yeah, very happy with it. That was what you saw was my very first attempt at putting the threads in. It's a fine thread, 14mm, 1mm pitch. So, it's actually, that was one point I didn't actually make when I was doing my prototype, my sad disaster, when I tried to do it in-house, the drilling the holes. But because it's a 13mm hole that's being tapped and only a 1mm pitch to the thread, it's only cutting into the steel by 0.5 mm on each side. It means that tapping it isn't that onerous, despite the heavy, the weight of the steel and the chunkiness of the tap itself. It's not too bad. So, but it still takes time, and there's still a lot of them, and I've only just started. Rightio, that's it. That's fairly positive for me, at least. Just letting these cure, as I mentioned in the previous video. A little bit of a hiccup with how the clashing strips went. They kind of like canted on an angle, and it's leaving a little bit of a gap. So if by the time I've trimmed them up and they're still looking a little bit vulnerable, yeah, I could just whip them off and put new ones on, or put a dowel in it, so make it look pretty. Actually, that would be quite cool, wouldn't it? I've got some purple heart. No, trying to turn them into dowels would drive me nuts. Anyway, that's curing. That'll get done over the weekend. Today's Friday. It's late Friday afternoon. And this will be part of what will be doing on the weekend. Oh, lucky me. Rightio, that's it. See you in the next one now. Bye.